living it low, yeah, we going high. Gotta climb to the top, no, I'm never gonna stop. In the low, yeah, we going high. Just going high. Just going high.
Welcome to Saturday Night In. This is not a girls' night out. This is a girls' night in. I am your host, Ashley Morrow. Welcome to Buckle Up Betties. I like to say that I'm the HBIC around here, and don't be thinking that means the B word. It means Betty. Welcome. I hope you guys are surviving quarantine okay, because that is the topic today, is how to survive quarantine without committing murder. I want to introduce you guys to some of my absolute most favorite humans in the whole entire world. These girls have been my friends since we were 15 years old and trying to figure out life. And we have been through a lot together. And these women inspire me and encourage me. And I think that you guys will be tickled hearing their stories of quarantine and our chit chat on this Girls Night In episode of Buckle Up Betties. All right, Skip, bring in the girls. Look at all of these beautiful faces. Oh my goodness, it makes me so happy. So let's start with everybody. I guess I'll just introduce everybody. So Jana is my best friend since we were, forever. And Jana is a nurse anesthetist in Madison, Alabama. And then we have Miss Rebecca Hume, who is, I think I can say this, that she is the most popular college professor on the University of North Alabama's campus. I can say that. I'll fight somebody in the street.
Opinion of just one person, of just Ashley.
No, that's a deal.
I am a person that works at UNA. Yes.
A CPA, so she's brilliant, and we're excited to have her here. And then we have Miss Bridget Flynn, who, can we just have a round of applause for the pink mermaid hair? It's so spectacular. I'm so excited. She is stay-at-home mom extraordinaire. She also has a side hustle with an online boutique that's just crazy cool. And then we have Dr. Lauren White. That's right. She's a smart. Well, I don't even know that I could pronounce what your doctorate's in. I just tell everybody that it's in theology, because that's technically right, but I don't know if there's a more technical term.
I would say it, but it would lower my cool status on this podcast, so I won't say
it. When you were studying for your doctorate and that girl asked you if it was whatever the subject was from Harry Potter.
Oh, so when I was getting my eyebrows waxed, and the person who was waxing my eyebrows asked me what I was studying, and I said theology, and she said, "Oh, like on Harry Potter?" I was like, "No," and I figured, because I said I was at the divinity school at Vanderbilt, and she was thinking of divination. And I was like, if I'd gotten into Hogwarts, I would have done that instead. But
that is everybody's best fallback plan, is to get into Hogwarts. So what I thought was, all four of these women are doing what I find to be the most impossible task, which is being quarantined with young children and their husbands. I am somewhat quarantined with my husband and our two dogs. I can't imagine how to navigate that life, and then also having to work or not work, and then navigating that. And so I thought, while all of us are sort of struggle busing and eating lots of Oreos and fudge sticks, can I get a witness? I thought I would bring them on so they could tell some of their funny stories and some things that they're struggling with, and maybe some things they're not struggling with. And and we'll just have us old girls night in, because we're gigglers. We giggle. We have this group FaceTime that we do, and that we literally just look at each other and giggle. That's it. If you do not have a group chat with some of your girlfriends and then you FaceTime each other in that group chat, you are missing one of the true joys of life.
Yes,
this is true.
I can't, because we've been friends for so long. The first time that we did it, I told Skip, I was I'm almost nervous. I just couldn't wait to see you guys. And I remember when we got off, I was so sad, and I cried. I was those girls just feel like home. It is so comforting to connect in a way that we don't normally connect, because literally I could not have invited 4 less techie friends to be on a live podcast.
True.
I wish your audience could see the behind the scenes outtakes of us trying to go live at 8:00. When we are at home, we have nothing else to do but get ready for this. And it was like,
Pitiful.
they're going to kick Lauren out of Hogwarts. We're all just like, we're going to, it's embarrassing actually.
So
I'm only here because my kids set this up for me. So
I love it. So I want to start us off with a fact that I just learned, like on the way to the podcast studio tonight. So we're driving down the road. We went and got takeout, and there was like this super sketchy liquor store on the side of the road. And I told Skip, I was like, did they consider alcohol stores essential because like they were afraid that people would like go into DTs if they didn't have access to it or whatever? And so he gave me 2 interesting facts. One, alcohol sales across the country are up 55% over the last 30 days.
I've heard that.
Alabama, our general budget is funded up to what? $263 million a year off ABC store sales. Is that not like a shocking amount of money?
Yeah.
That means some of these people who say they don't drink, they're drinking. That's the deal. So tell me, so we'll start with Janet and sort of work our way around. Like, tell me, like, are you sticking to a schedule, or are y'all just like, whatever we can do to get through the day?
Well, okay, so I have 2 kids, ages 5 and 2. And so our schedule is a little bit like, we wake up about 7 o'clock. I let them watch TV until like 9, and then I might try to do something productive with them. I might not. And then at about, after lunch, the 2-year-old goes down for a nap. And so I have been known to let my 5-year-old play on my phone, and I take a nap during that time. He will send lots of random text messages. So these girls have seen that. But occasionally I'll do some school with him. He's in pre-K at Madison City. And so we'll do a little bit of school. And then the afternoons, we try to get outside and do some stuff. And then my husband comes home, and he kind of takes over from there. So
because your husband is still working. He is at Athens Hospital, right?
Yes, he is working. He's at Athens Hospital. His hours have been cut a little bit, but not too bad. He has not seen any COVID patients or anything like that. But when he gets home, he strips down in the garage. He comes straight in, takes his shower before he, gathers with the family. So that's kind of how we've been doing it.
So I just heard that if you want the free show, it's in Madison.
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
see the address later. The garage doors up.
Yep.
So Rebecca, what about you? I mean, your kids are a little older. So are you just like letting them run wild through the streets, or what's the deal?
Yes. I have a funny story. Before the big lockdown, they were running wild with their friends. We live in a big subdivision, so they were riding bikes. And now I realize that I was raising house cats that didn't know how to survive in the wild, because I have 3 middle school age kids that, make pretty good grades and play sports. Like, they're out there, you think, okay. And they all went with their little neighborhood gang down to the creek in the back of our neighborhood and set up Beanos and took snacks, and they were going to go camping. And the mom said, that made us a little worried. So they ended up camping in a neighbor's backyard. And then one of the moms in this group texts me, and she says, "Has any of your kids been having stomach problems?" And I was like, let me ask them. It turns out they were having stomach problems. So her son they were having such stomach problems, they had to send off some samples and get it tested. And long story short, the Alabama Department of Public Health has to give them a call, and testing positive for Giardia. And so I feel like I'm a great mom. Just turned my kids out. And she said that it was like the best comic relief for their office, because they've been dealing with so much COVID stuff. And she was like, as a mom of 3 boys, she understood how this could happen. but it's because my kids did not know that none of the kids, neighborhood kids know that you don't drink the creek water. Yep. And that, like I said, that they make okay grades, and I thought everything was okay, but so they're going to die outside the nest. That's the kind of little animals they are. And
I'm curious because your husband is like the outdoor king.
I know it's really embarrassing. Like what kind of, that's all, like they can set up this technology and they can do all of this. Now Davis, who's 14, he even got a sponsorship merch deal for his online game that he does these same little camera things on his video games, and got a company to sponsor them. And anytime somebody uses his code, he gets sent free, merch in the mail for this gaming stuff. So that's the kid that's smart enough to do that, but leads everybody to drinking creek water and gets like basically salmonella. And they have to call and make sure that it's not in our public water, or like that I'm not abusing them or something. But
I love this whole investigation's launched over a simple camping trip gone wrong.
yeah, but my kids they're staying up too late and sleeping too late, and we'll be in a mess once everything goes back. We're like this. Things are good, things are bad. Things are good, things are bad. So,
all right, Lauren, you got two littles too.
Yeah. So I've got a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old, and it's not like this at my house. It's just down here. Like it's bad all the time. And listening to Jana talk about her schedule makes me feel a little ashamed / sad for my children, because I told these girls just a couple
Lauren, that schedule is for Jana. That's not for her kids. That's for Jana.
Oh, it makes total sense to keep a schedule. I am in awe of all the people out there keeping schedules. Like I told these girls a couple weeks ago that it's like Vegas at my house. Like everyone's like up all hours of the night, eating whatever they want, like gambling. I don't know what's going on around here. Like it's crazy. So my husband is trying to work, like kind of keep he's a dentist and he has a practice he's just kind of single-handedly sort of keeping afloat right now. And then I teach like Rebecca. I'm trying to do all my teaching remotely. So I've got these university students that I'm trying to manage, plus my children. So the homeschooling thing with my poor kindergartner, if it's not for my husband, it's not happening. And then I've said like the 4-year-old is basically feral at this point. He's just, running amok. So we'll see what happens on the other side of this.
All right, Bridget, I'm hoping your tech issues have solved. What about you? Because you've got Boston is what, 9? 10. And then Wesley is 5.
Wesley, well, she just turned 6.
She just turned 6. So are they just running like rabid dogs in the street, or do you have a good like structure for them, or what are you doing with them?
We have no structure. It's basically every day is painfully the same yet vastly different. That's all. I mean, every day is just a new.
Yeah, that's called
box to
SSD.
open.
It's SSD, same stuff, different day. It's a syndrome.
Yeah, the school staff. The school staff has put a little bit of structure. And just because Boston has more work, I didn't hear anything Rebecca said because her kids are a little bit older too. But my daughter is in kindergarten, or was in kindergarten, so she is not, and she's going to repeat kindergarten. So I've pretty much not done anything with her because I'm like, she's repeating.
So because Wesley is special needs, so like her diet is very restrictive, and so like right now when it's like every man for himself in the pantry, like how are you like keeping that sort of on track for her?
Well, I hate to say luckily, but she's like 99% tube fed, so we don't really have to worry about that. She
doesn't like
that is kind of a routine. We get up and
so she's not like trying to like sneak her hand in the cookie jar because like everything's amok, or no.
She has her own little snacks that she eats, and she like sticks to that, and everything else is kind of like ooh, I don't know about that. Like she's kind of leery of other foods.
Look, I just feel super honored because
Right.
Leslie has decided that I'm a celebrity and she wants to FaceTime with me all the time.
Yeah.
And like, there is nothing cooler than when like a 5-year-old thinks you're cool enough to FaceTime with. Like, that's legit.
She thinks you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
She's obsessed with you, and she asked at least 5 times a day, and I just tell her you're at work and you can't talk.
It has definitely put some extra
She
flags
loves you.
into my step, like for sure. So I'm so curious because I've been on this like Weight Watchers, like trying to get thin and, so I can be a real sweet person all the time. So I've never really been like a meal planner, and really the only way that I can do Weight Watchers is that Skip was like, I'll help you get skinny. And then he just sort of like makes the food appear. But like right now, like some of you guys, I know like Jana, you used to be like a big meal planner. Like, are y'all planning your stuff out, or is it just really like, oh, look, it's hamburgers on loaf bread tonight?
So here's my type A personality coming through. I'm planning all the meals, but they're not like fancy. They might be like hot dogs and mac and cheese, chicken nuggets and French fries, spaghetti and meatballs. But I am furloughed right now, and so I am not making money. So we're trying to really limit our takeout and our eating out or curbside, whatever. So because of that, yeah, I have been meal planning. I have been cooking, if you call that cooking, every day.
That sounds terrible.
Let's do a slow clap for Jana for cooking every day.
I'm like, that's amazing.
Yes.
That's
Now, having said that, like if I wasn't furloughed, we would be doing like Rosie's to go every night. But
Rosie's. I
You miss Rosie's, Ashley?
Yes. I saw a meme the other day that said, I am going to have to be physically restrained and taken out of a Mexican restaurant when it opens back up. Like, I probably will get arrested. Like, I am probably going to act like the biggest fool. Like, so my dad, who is brilliant, he's a brilliant doctor, like, is so good, has had a flip phone for years. He bought an iPhone, I don't know what, like 6 weeks ago, let's say. He kept it for 2 weeks in his car and didn't tell anybody he had gotten it because he wasn't sure he wanted to do it. Well, for the past, I don't know, week and a half or two, he's been sending me TikTok videos. And I was like, so Dad, are you on TikTok, or are you sending me TikTok videos that people are sending you? He was like, I have an iPhone now. I'm on TikTok. I'm like, stop it right now. I was like, what does that even mean? He was like, it's funny. So he sends me all these videos. I'm about to call him out so bad. He sends me video after video of little kids saying cuss words. He's obsessed. And I don't know if he knows, but like the more stuff like that you watch and follow, then that's the kind of content you get. I'm not kidding when I say he has probably sent me 15 videos in the past couple of days of kids like opening gifts and saying cuss words, or like just saying things that sound like cuss words, but they're not really. They're like trying to say cotton ball, but they're saying cock and ball. Like, he like thinks it's the most hilarious thing ever. And I'm like, I don't listen. So
I'm surprised that he even knows what TikTok is. Like, I mean, he like went straight from the flip phone to TikTok.
Like he's living and he's left the rest of us behind. So I can't help but think like there's zero. Let's be honest. Y'all are all good girls. There is zero possible way that you're sitting home in quarantine and not cussing. Like it's a 0% chance that you have not said a cuss word. What is the likelihood that you come out of quarantine with some potty mouth kids?
Well, my kids and I have been watching Stranger Things together on Netflix, which is a popular show. And the only thing I knew about it was that it's popular, and you see those little middle school kids like around the table in the basement, and so that's what I thought the show was. it's kind of it's a horror show, and it has a lot of, you don't realize cussing until you're sitting there all piled up under a blanket with your kids. And it's a fun show to watch. And I just, every time they say something, I'm like, now we're not going to talk like this, guys. Don't talk like Dustin has a trash mouth. Let's just not talk like him. So maybe that's helped me watch myself a little bit better, because hearing it on TV with them sitting beside me, I mean, they could just listen to their dad occasionally, and then that's probably as bad as Netflix.
Oh, what a jewel.
My problem is, I mean, first of all, yes, there's a likelihood of my kids learning some expletives as a result of all this. But there's also just the problem with them hearing me. Now they hear me all day long griping. Like, it used to be that they would go to school and I would go to my workplace and we weren't around each other. So they started griping as well. And then, like, today we went out for like a hike. And when the hike was over, my son told my husband that he was insane. He was like, Dad, you're insane. And it was just a weird, I was like, he got that from me, because I say weird stuff like that all day long. So not only will they probably be cursing, but they'll be saying inappropriate things to adults at this point,
Also got it right. So it's not like he learned the word and used it wrong.
Context.
Yes.
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
I'm not nice enough to have offspring. So every time I think about cuss words and I think about us going to Mars Hill Bible School, it sort of tickles me. It's probably why they've never asked me to come back and speak, even though I've spoken to every other high school known to man. Because they're probably afraid I'm going to drop the F-bomb, which, I mean, let's be honest, fair. Jen, you were at Mars Hill yet. Do y'all remember 8th grade, Mr. Lehman's class? I can't remember who of y'all would have been in the class with me. He and I got in a major argument over cuss words being cuss words, because to me, a word is just a word. It's the intent of the word. And like, I know there's cultural relevance and context or whatever, but he was saying, well, instead of saying this word, you should say horse feathers. And I'm like, well, if Jesus is going to get mad at the anger behind the word, why can't I just say shit? Does anybody remember this conversation with Donald Lehman?
I barely remember the name of the teacher you're talking about. I don't. I'm the wrong person to ask on memories.
Mr. Lehman messages me like once a month and tells me how awesome I am. You guys missed out.
I remember Don Lehman right here.
What subject did he teach?
Oh, English. Oh, yes.
Do you remember this whole course that he put us through about like the context of cuss words?
I feel like you were in a different English section than I was.
AKA
that would have stood out to me.
English section. I was in the peasant English. People still trying to figure out how to conjugate verbs English.
Was it 8th grade? I think I had Miss Brewer as an 8th grade English teacher. I'm pretty sure.
Well, then I had Miss Brewer too.
And I'm a fan. She's very funny.
Okay. I always thought Miss Brewer would have had a great potty mouth.
I think Mr. Lehman was 7th grade.
Okay. Well, I bought him a hat one year for Christmas, and he messaged me the other day to tell me he still had it.
Oh.
But then there was Ashley, were you there when we also had Mr. Lumpkins? Like, did you have Mr. Lumpkins?
No.
I do know who that you're speaking of, but
okay.
Never mind.
I have to tell the greatest Mr. Lumpkin story in the history of the world. My mother's probably going to die. My brother's probably going to murder me, but he's not on Facebook. He won't know. So my mother gets a phone call one day that she and her husband need to immediately get to Mars Hill. And Mom's like, well, surprise, it's just going to be me. His daddy's unavailable. So Mom gets to school and Mr. Lumpkins is like, I can't even talk to you by yourself. This is so inappropriate. And Mom's like, oh my God, what has Tyler done? I mean, she's thinking like the worst, like something involving like animal, like it's got to be something like terrible, you know? So he makes the secretary come sit in the room with him and she's like, Miss Morrow, I would just feel so much more comfortable if Tyler's daddy was here. She was like, well, you got me. So what's up? Because Tyler was passing around terrible things. And Mom's like, oh God. And then he pulls out a picture of like a topless woman. And Mom was like, oh, good. Totally age appropriate. Like,
No, it's not.
like
I have an 8th grade son. I would die. I would like burst into flames.
she's like, obviously he doesn't need to be passing it around school, but like, I'm okay. And literally, Mr. Lumpkins was like, Miss Mara. I mean, like she said, she felt like the flames of hell tickling her ankles as she walked out. And it turns out one of my stepbrothers had given Tyler the picture, and Tyler brought it and like got busted passing it to like Michael Baines or somebody. And they all had, anyways, it's really fantastic. And if you're watching this and you did not grow up going to a parochial school, I can tell you it is a very different life experience. I can say that the humor that you learn there, because no one else will hang out with you from any other school, really sets you apart and sets you ahead. I think that our social isolation set us up for success more than anything else. Now, I'm saying that, and Rebecca's like totally bought into the Mars Hill brand, so she's like shaking her head because her kids are like excelling there.
I like all the rules for my kids.
Okay,
Great.
so you like all the rules for your kids, but how did you feel about the rules when you were going through it?
I think that, I have a problem with overconfidence rather than so like, I feel like I turned out great. And I feel like y'all did too. I feel like people are great everywhere, honestly. I'm not meant for Facebook. Too nervous. I don't want to get in a fight.
Well, you're not getting in a fight. I mean, let's be honest. Like, I'm
with the Facebook people, not with you. I mean, I'm not a strong opinionated person.
I'm surprised they haven't like gone back and crowned you Miss Mars Hill, because like you're in. Like you're almost self-funding it with 3 kids in there.
Not hardly. I mean,
yeah, you're like funding the whole school with 3 children in there.
Well, we don't really know. I mean, Ashley, you actually, and Jana, y'all actually have some concept of what school is like outside of Mars Hill. Rebecca and I are lifers. Like we were there from the time we were in the cradle. Like, so I don't even know what it would be like to go to school elsewhere. I just know that I have hilarious and weird stories from high school. Like when I went to college and would be telling people what my high school was like, they were like, "Where did you go to school? Like, what is this weird place?" And I was like, "What? Y'all didn't have Hungry Horse at your high school?" Like,
so for our listeners and our international audience, we have guys in our class who borrowed one of those 2-person horse costumes, and they would bust into a classroom and walk up and down the aisles going, "I'm hungry." And it was beyond disruptive. The whole thing was
Who
funded
did that?
together by a local youth minister. It was like, I would see teachers just like hang their head in defeat. Like the fact that no one tackled Hungry Horse and ripped the costume off. I literally watched Hungry Horse walk through 2 classrooms and then walk across the bridge up to the bookstore.
And we also had the Masked Man, Ashley. You should tell them about the Masked Man.
So again, same group. The Masked Man wore coveralls and like a mask where you can only see his face. And he would bust into a classroom and he would have wanted posters and he'd go, blah, 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 and he'd throw these wanted posters up and he would run out and like mess up a bunch of stuff. I mean, completely chaotic, like steal portraits off the wall, rearrange furniture, like absolute chaos. So that started with our class, the class of 2000. And then you fast forward to, I don't know, I want to say I was a sophomore or junior in high school when I get a phone call that somebody who had taken a turn as the Masked Man had been busted. So Mars Hill, the school that we went to, is predominantly white. And a kid in this class wanted to take his turn. He was African American and he didn't have any gloves. So he had to put his hands like in his sleeves like this so nobody could see his hands. And then they didn't have a full mask. So he had to turn the mask around so you can only see like this far in front of him. So his goal was he was going to run through the Spanish room and he was going to make all this noise and he was going to jump out the back window. And so he looks in, he's like, "You guys ready?" And they're like, "Yes." So when he leaves, somebody shuts the window. And so he comes running through the room and he's like, blah, 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 and he takes this flying leap at the window and knocks himself out. And so The teacher's trying to get back there, and as he's coming to, he's getting ready to rip the mask off, and he goes, "No, not my mask." Greg, come to the office. He was the only African American in the whole entire high school. So that is what that's what private school's like. Like, people can tell you that it's like the place of opportunity and it is the place of Hungry Horse and the Masked Man. That was my personal experience.
This is true.
It is a fantastic way to grow up. Although I do feel like, and I don't know if it was our class size or if it was the social isolation because none of the other schools liked us, like, I do feel like our friendships are bonded a little bit differently than like people that my extended social circle are so surprised at how many of my good close girlfriends to this day are people that I met at Mars Hill. Like, my college roommate for 3 years was a girl that went to Mars Hill a year ahead of me, that even though we weren't close in high school, now I can't imagine not having her in my life. And so I think that Mars Hill, coming from a large public school and then going to Mars Hill, I don't know that I would have ever known that I had leadership skills or that I had like the ability to sell something or that I had something like that in me. But that small classroom size sort of allowed teachers to speak something differently into you because they had more of an opportunity to know you and sort of be able to watch your skill set develop. Nobody?
I think that's true. I think it's also
No,
true that, I feel like a school like that sort of highlights for me how much education is kind of what you make of it. Because I don't think anyone here would say that we went to a private school because it was like, going to be academically elite. Although we had a great experience. But that wasn't why we were there, right? So it was more the bonding experience we had. It was like totally unique. And the fact that y'all are still like some of my 4 favorite people on the planet is pretty cool.
So speaking of one of our favorite people on the planet, Danny Hanberry just messaged me and said, clicking on Facebook and seeing 11% of our senior class streaming live was weird. I guess that's the reunion taken care of.
We need to have a reunion. We need to have a.
No, we do not.
It's our 20th anniversary. It's our 20th whatever.
This is our 20-year reunion right here, girls.
Who's going to plan it? Like,
okay. We're quarantined. We can't do it.
It'll be in October.
So Danny and I were both class officers, like senior year, which means it's on us, Danny.
It is not on me because y'all didn't vote me senior class president. It's on Zach Thompson. Have fun with him.
We voted for you, Ashley. Are you kidding?
Yeah, well,
I didn't win student council president my senior year. I got up there. I think I had a scarf and like a well-prepared speech, and I talked about all the things that I was involved in, and it was numerous and impressive and lengthy and awesome. And then I sat down, and this other student, Nick Vaden, with the most classic thing, I almost voted for myself. He got up to the podium and said, "I literally have nothing else to do except this." And he stepped back down, and he won.
Perfect.
And
And
I was like, "That's great."
remember what happened to me. Same thing. Student council. I get up there. I list my accolades. I play soccer. I work at Stakeout. My God, what more do you want? And but Dusty Farnett, and he brings donuts the morning of the vote, and he wins.
Classic donuts trick.
I love that the vegetarian of the group worked at Stakeout. Like, irony has never been lost on me. We have some illustrious other Mars Hill alums watching. Like, we've got Brian Lovejoy is watching. For us to Venmo him, that will literally never happen. Although, if you are not following Brian Lovejoy on Facebook right now, you are missing like a true comedic joy. First of all, his Tiger King memes are like second to none. Second of all, he continues to make these videos about his COVID outfits that he wears to like go check the mail or to go get groceries, and they're legit. Okay, so talking about,
was it an astronaut?
well, that was one of his outfits. His first outfit, he had on a gas mask and like these crazy pajamas, and he walked out of his house with a gas mask and an AK to go mail.
I need Brian Lovejoy's feed for sure. Like,
it's just pretty fantastic.
I need to subscribe.
Which
Can we just agree Brian Lovejoy owns Facebook? I mean, he just
Like,
owns it every day.
so
pretty much.
Brian is actually auctioning off hard to find high-end bourbon to help fund medical masks for local nurses who are working up in New York on the COVID crisis. And I think that is a well thought out. Do what? Did you say what a? I thought you said the F word. And I was what is happening right now. In case you don't know, Buckle Up Betty's is rated E for explicit. It does not mean A for everyone.
What a jerk.
A jerk. Brian Lovejoy is kind of a jerk, but like the kind of jerk that you like to be friends with because it's funny. Like I told him the other night when I was talking to him on the phone, I said, you are the same kind of jerk to people that you hate and to people that you love. It's the trick is knowing where you stand on that day.
Yeah, I was totally joking. I was making a sarcastic remark. Just to clear that up.
I wasn't. You're a jerk and I love you. Okay. So if you could have your 20-year reunion anywhere, where would it be?
Oh.
Like, what classic Shoals landmark, past or present, would you want to have it in? I will go first and say Court Street Cafe.
Oh yeah.
That was a high school staple.
What about the Stillwater Steakhouse, Rebecca? Am I right? That place had some good rolls.
So good. That was my first job when I was 16.
Yeah.
And it was really popular and busy, and I made a lot of money working there. And it closed because the managers were stealing. So. I learned a lot, though. Glad that my parents thought that was a good idea for me to go at 16 and work there. It's great.
All right, Rebecca, where would you have our fantasy Shoals 20 reunion?
Well, where did we hung out at a lot of like drive-throughs. Lauren in her former life was really good at that, like the crank call drive-through.
Oh, so good.
The Books a Million, that little area.
The Macy's. What was that little gas station called?
Macy's
sorry.
Market. Chris and I went there after our first date. That's where everybody was.
At the Sit-Go?
It's called Macy's Market.
It's on Darby.
It's on Darby. Don't go there now. This is a true story from about 2 months ago. I pulled in there to get gas, and as soon as I take the pump out, it sprayed me in the face. It was like must have been tied up like in the face, like gas in the face. Expletives firing out. I rushed to the front like I'm gonna just chew somebody out because it's like I had this like Nike puffer coat. It was really cute. Gas in my like.
In your mouth?
Yes. And I stopped like right before I got in the door and I thought, what am I going to do? I'm going to yell at somebody about this. Like, that's not going to help anything. And I just turned around and walked back. And I know he was watching me on camera. And
So
I shoved that. I was on empty. So I had to keep getting gas. Well, I tried to clean myself up. If you sprayed in the face with gas, it's the smell. But I had to make one more stop before home. And, I look about like this, but I smell like the worst thing you could ever imagine. And I'm in a store and this lady keeps falling. She's like, and I know she's smelling me, but I just play it cool. Like I'm just a classy lady, that doesn't stink. And finally she's like, she keeps wanting to talk, but I don't engage. And she's like, do you smell gas? And I was like, it's me. And she was like, could not. And she's like, what? And I was like, it sprayed me in the face, but I wanted to come here first. And she was like, oh.
Was this in Target?
It was at Ross Dress for Less, which is that's a favorite. I would have the reunion there if current day Rebecca got to pick.
All right, Jana, where's your spot?
I'm going to go restaurant wise. I think I would go, I don't know, maybe Princeton's.
Oh,
Good one.
And place though, I got to go with that old Ghost Bridge.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if Luke Copeland comes to the reunion, he's got to jump off the Ghost Bridge.
Is it still there?
Yes, it's still there, but it's like blocked off. I don't think we can get to it anymore.
I had to drive by that thing all the time to go to my house. Remember?
Yeah.
My kids and I are going to go there tomorrow. I'll let y'all know because we need stuff to do. We're always looking.
Y'all go check
So
it out.
when you go, Rebecca, tell them about the time. So Bridget and I went to see the movie The Sixth Sense. And I was terrified. I called my mom. It was a weeknight. I asked if I could spend the night with Bridget because I didn't want to drive home past the Ghost Bridge. And my mom is a very Church of Christ, evangelical type of lady, Southern Christian, good Southern Christian. And she said, Lauren, okay, you can stay with Bridget, but I just want you to know there is no ghost but the Holy Ghost, and he will protect you.
We could do a whole podcast. we could do a whole podcast series on Nancy Smeltzer
We could.
story.
But I was hoping we lost Bridget's connection there, but dang it, because that was a good one. We quoted that for a while.
Fantastic. So if you had to give like your top tip for surviving quarantine right now, like what is the thing that you're doing that you feel like is giving you a little bit of peace when you do it? Like, is it comfort eating? Is it like saying that you have to poop, but you really don't? Like, what is it that you're doing to like sort of survive like this new normal that we have for at least the next few weeks? Rebecca.
I feel like I have so much more free time, so I can say yes to everything that I would normally be annoyed by with my kids. And like, like who wants to play freaking board games? Never. I don't. But I'm doing stuff like that, and like just being outside with them. They really like that. Just things that I'm not really an outdoor person, but now I am.
So you're finding a lot of satisfaction in not having to tell your kids no.
Yeah. Like we would normally go to school and work and then have 3 people in 3 different places every day, games, like practices 5-6 days a week. So now we're just home every day. So we're, I'm trying to enjoy that kind of thing. We have a team mentality, not Chris. If you've seen those memes where the husband is asked, option A, I think Ashley, you might have sent me this and I've seen it elsewhere. Option A, stay home with your wife and kids, or B, and the husband goes, B. Like that's my husband, But so me and the kids, we consider ourselves a team. And if somebody's having a bad time, and sometimes it's me and sometimes it's Lily, we're the 2 that have the worst time, then everybody else has to pitch in and be cool. And only one person can have a mental breakdown at a time. And so it can't be 2 at once. And so that's my tip. Is like, let the person be crazy or mean or cranky or whatever, and you get your turn next time.
I mean, Skip will never get a turn.
Ashley, it's a team. You have to let him have a turn sometimes.
I don't know. It's like he doesn't take any medication, but it's like he's naturally medicated all the time. He's like the most chill human being alive. Like he was trying to explain to me today that my hair doesn't really look as bad as I think it does. And I was like, Skip, did you even notice I have on makeup today? He was like, yes. I was like, well, I still don't believe you. And he's like, oh, he will. See if I
Ashley, how are you making it? Because you were like a newlywed and now in quarantine.
Well,
like those couples in China that came out of quarantine and went straight to divorce court. Did y'all see that?
no, I mean, honestly, I really think it's because Skip is like the most level-headed, the most chill human being alive. Like I have to, everything that we're doing with the shops right now is just sort of crazy. And so I'm having to do a lot more live video. I'm having to make a lot more digital content, and I'm really working almost harder. I don't know that it's harder. It's just different than the kind of work that I was doing. And so, and then of course we're volunteering and we're coaching businesses all over the country, and I'm taking part of these webinars and these conference calls, and it's just like, it's nonstop. And someone that works the way that I do has to have a very specific kind of partner. And so it helps a lot that Skip is not a hindrance or a roadblock to the things that I want to do. He's actually right there with me, helping me do it. And so it really helps that he's just not an asshole. Like
I think adorable is the word you're looking for.
Literally no one says the word adorable. Stop it.
That's a good one. That's awesome.
Skip has this thing where he'll go, adorable. And it's gross. And it's like caught on and like people do it back to him and it is really infuriating. You should also know that I only talk this nice about him like to other people because he gets the big head and I need him to like not get the big head. So it's helpful to me that like I don't have an annoying husband and just sort of traditionally like when yes, Bridget, we're very famous. Traditionally, like Skip is just very I don't know. He's just very, very chill. And it sort of allows me to be, he's like a good grounding for me. And then he's also a good leader too. So like when I'm like completely tapped out, he's like taking the ball and running with it. So I think I'm just really, really lucky. And I don't think this is like just because we just got married or anything like that. Like I can look at him and say, literally, not today. I can't talk to anybody. I want to sit on this couch. I want to watch what I want and I want to be by myself. And he'll be like, deuces. And he will literally check on me every 2.5 hours to see if I need food. But he won't ask me anything else because I don't want anybody to talk to me. I don't want anybody to touch me. I just want to be left alone. And he really respects that. And so I tell people all the time, I'm like, you really need to find a partner. That's my mother. And they gang up on me all the time. I tell people it's really important to find a partner that compliments you in that way. Like, you know, that isn't like when you say, hey, I just need to be left alone because I have to recharge, for them not to be like, what? What's wrong? Do you want to talk about it? What's going on? Did I literally stutter? I literally said, I need some space and I need to like chill. And so it's really nice to have a partner who like listens that way. I'm very, very lucky. One of the reasons I don't talk about him a lot is because if people knew how good he was to me, people would literally hate me.
I know. Quit bragging.
Yeah. So that's another reason why I try not to talk about him too much because, you know, he's nice and he's not annoying and he's a really good cook. And I literally think that women would hate me all over the world if they knew how good my husband was.
Oh,
I know. It's sort of gross. Like gross. Okay, Lauren, what are you doing is like that one thing that's like trying to keep yourself from going crazy during all of this?
Oh man, don't ask me. I don't have any good advice. I don't have anything positive to say, y'all. I'm just hanging in until the semester's over. Like I have little kids and I'm insane. Like it's nuts. The things that get me through are like, I have funny friends. So like sending me, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of really good humor that's emerged from this COVID crisis. Like a lot of good memes, a lot of good videos. So I feel like we have a group text, you know, like sending funny things to each other helps. And then I do have a husband who cooks, which Jana sends us these recipes she's been making and they sound amazing. And I'm like, my hat's off to you. I don't make anything. I mean, I just show up with my fork and knife, you know, and eat. And then I do clean up. I'm good at that. But yeah, it's kind of chaos. I'm just kind of hanging on. I'm hanging on till the semester's out. And then I'm going to try to be a better mom. And maybe we'll have rules about not driving each other crazy or something. But I am with Ashley. Like I got lucky on the partner front because my husband puts up with my moodiness and he cooks. So I like to tell people I got a good wife. You know?
Goodness. Okay, Jana. What are you doing? Because like you got little kids and you're not used to being at home because you're used to working 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week. And now it's like
30 hours a week, but
well, whatever.
Surgery Center of Life, actually.
Oh, Surgery Center of Life. I'm sorry. So, but you're used to working relatively full time.
Yes.
And now you're home with two little kids that you're used to only getting to see a couple hours a day. So what are you doing? Like, are you, again, hiding for a little bit, or like, what are you doing to sort of like stay sane?
Well, it's funny because like the natural introvert in me is actually loving this. Like I could be a stay-at-home mom, and it is shocking to hear me say that. I could be a stay-at-home mom like during the school year, and then I would just work during the summer. That's what I've decided. Because like I actually love being there for the kids and like seeing them in the morning, and that's new. Usually I leave for work at like 6 a.m. They do not see me in the mornings. I have noticed, like, especially the older kid sleeps a whole lot better. He does not come down in the middle of the night because there's no question if, like, is mom going to be there in the morning? Like, he knows I'm going to be there. I'm not like a big social person, so I kind of don't mind the quarantine so much, but I sleep a lot. I guess that would be the answer. Because, like, I take the naps in the afternoon. I give him my phone. Like, I thought, oh, I'm going to, like, exercise and I'm going to get my life together. No, like, that has not happened at all.
I am like, I want to kick every single life coach repeatedly in the nuts or in the cooter for saying, you should take this time to write a book and you should take this time to get skinny. And if you don't do it, then you were never going to do it. Stop. Like, literally, to put that on people, I think it's almost like irresponsible, because this is something like no one ever thought when they sent their kids to public school that 2 weeks later they might be homeschooling their kids, because now they're also home because they're furloughed and they're not working and it's not safe to go to the grocery store hardly ever. And like, to say like, well, this is your time to shine. This is literally your time to survive. And so that's what I sort of think is important about what we've talked about tonight, is sort of creating the space and the permission to say, it's okay if the only thing you did today was just like take a shower. Like, it's okay if the only thing you did was take a shower and you also cook dinner for your family. Like, I think that what we're setting for ourselves goal wise has to be different. Like, it has to adjust. Like, I've been killing myself trying to make this new normal work for the shops at Coldwater. And Skip looked at me the other night and he was like, hey, you need to take a night off. Like, don't do a live, don't talk to customers, take a night off. And hell, it felt so good. I took 2 nights off. And it made a difference because the next day we had record sales because I was refreshed and I could think, and like sort of giving yourself permission and space to sort of be. And I feel like I personally am really lucky because I don't have an annoying husband that I'm like quarantined with. But then I also have, you know, a lot of customers that I get to sort of talk to all the time who are really nice and say things like, well, your makeup looks good and your hair looks pretty. And it makes me like not feel like I'm going to fall off the face of the earth and just like disappear. And so I feel like for me personally, I'm surviving the whole quarantine life a little different because I still get to go to my shop and I still get to talk to customers and I like FaceTime some of my customers. And so it's like a totally different way of us doing business, but it's still, I don't feel socially isolated. And as an extrovert, that would have been like really, really hard for me. But I think it's really important for anybody listening and anybody watching to say, hey, it's okay for us to create some space for ourselves. Like, I had a follow up with my nurse practitioner. If you caught last week's Buckle Up Betty's Live, I had my follow up with him this Thursday and I had lost another 3.5 pounds. And I told him, I was like, I don't actually deserve those 3.5 pounds because I've been eating like an asshole. Like, I have eaten everything. Like, if it's at nighttime and I'm feeling a little like overwhelmed, I'm probably going to eat a couple of fudge sticks. Like, it's probably going to happen. I don't normally keep that in the house because I can't stay away from it. But like right now, everything feels like you're just trying to get to like the next day. And like, what's the next day going to be? You know, we found out Thursday night that our company did not get a Paycheck Protection Program loan. And so we now have to like hope that this thing gets, you know, funding reallocated to it. And now we're sitting here going, we have 4 businesses. How are we going to make this work? And so I worry, what do we have left when this is all said and done? And so much of my effort is spent on like helping any small business that needs help. Like, we're not charging. We're just trying to help people. It's the right thing to do. Like, anybody that comes to us, we're trying to help as much as we can because I want there to be something left over. Like, I want there to still be small mom and pop businesses. Like, that's where I like to shop and that's who I like to do business with. And so, creating that space to make that okay, I think is really important. So if you're watching, if you're listening, give yourself the space. Okay. I promise it's okay. I promise it's okay to sleep an extra hour. Also, I mean, I was like absolutely the person who slept till 1 o'clock. Like that was. I woke up on Saturday morning at like 8:30, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, how did I sleep in this long? Like I'm behind. I gotta go." And then I was like, "Wait a minute, when did that become my life? Is this like a late 30s thing that like sleeping until 8:30 is sleeping in? Because it sucks."
No kidding.
8:30. Wow. I mean, I'm
8:30. I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm an hour and a half behind." Like I don't know that I want to be that person anymore. I really love sleep like so much. Like so much.
I'm just a morning person, and I like to get up before the kids and like drink coffee and read and sit around. And now I hear these footsteps coming down, and it's Lily. And like I can't ever get away from her. It's like the thing in Peter Pan, you know, you can hear it coming.
I love it.
And so, and I'm obsessed with her. Like I feel like I'm quarantined with like a fun best friend because we like to like clean out closets and bake and do hair, and like we can pretty much find something to do every day. But I just don't want to do it first thing in the morning.
Yeah, I'm not a coffee drinker. I'm absolutely a Diet Dr. Pepper drinker.
Well, I'm just like, why is she up? Because she's going to bed early because she had nothing to do. And it's just like this.
So what I just heard is that Lily's going to be better than all of us when this comes back around. She's going to be like rested, ready. She's going to she'll be the senior class president.
She washed all my makeup brushes today, and I have a lot.
That is that is almost worth having a kid for.
I know. Isn't it great? She's like so clever and good at that. And so like she got like some gentle soap and had little bowls and paper towels, and she even drained them like at an angle so the water wouldn't go back up in the brush.
She's like a girl after my own heart. I love it. I love it. Well, we are out of time. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of Buckle Up Betties. Thank you, Jana, Rebecca, Lauren, and Bridget, who got cut off. You guys are fantastic. I hope y'all enjoyed our walk down memory lane and some of the stories we shared. And most importantly, I hope that you heard a story or heard an idea that said, you know what, I'm going to do that too, just so I can survive this crazy new normal. Until next time, Betties, peace out. Goodbye. Good night. Bye.
I
In the air, yeah, I feel it. You better believe it when I know ya.